All right, welcome back, everybody, for my watch list for this Wednesday. I was going to do this as only members only, but I'm going to let everybody see this one more time just to give you guys one more taste of the other content that I'm putting out for the members only stuff. So this is free for everybody once again this week, just because I don't know, I felt like doing it that way. That all said, these are things I'll be looking for this Wednesday and keeping an eye on, seeing how prices go. I'm not necessarily saying I want to buy all of these things. I'm just saying I'm interested. I'm curious. I want to see where the market goes on a lot of these books. Some of these will be some high ratio of variants. Some of these will be some first appearances. Some would be just some cover picks. And I actually broke this out into some categories for this week to see how that works. So let me know what you think in the comments section. So just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back with this week's Wednesday watch list. Okay, so as I noted, this is going to be for New Comic Book Day for the week of March 20th, 2023. It's March 20th today as I'm filming this, and I'm just going to drop this right away. This is, the books you'll be able to get on the 21st and the 22nd, whether you're going to your store on Tuesday for your DC pickups or just waiting until Wednesday to get everything. So let's start off with the first book that I'm keeping an eye on this week because I'm just kind of curious about. And this first one is a pick I made just for fun. Let's see what happens with Pee Pee Poo Poo, number 69. Yes, that's right. I saw this when I was scrolling through some of the new releases this week, and it just caught my eye. I know nothing about this book, apart from the fact that it's $9.99. It's basically for cover price out there. It's a couple copies sold. There's some available. It's not sold out or anything like that. I'm just kind of curious because, it's funny. It's Pee Pee Poo Poo. Who does it? It's just fun to say. That said, there's our first book that I'm just going to keep an eye on. Let's see. Sometimes these weird things, pop for one reason or another. So let's see what happens when this gets in front of, mass buyers. That said, let's start off with some covers. Just some covers that I like, some covers I'm curious about to see if they're going to go from, well, they're just cool covers to, hey, people actually want to start paying extra for these covers. And these are the copies that sell out, and these are the ones that are not there on your shelves. Typically, it's not easy for these to sell out ahead of time. So it really depends, I think, mostly when it's on the shelves and people get it in front of them to see what happens with some of these covers. The first one being one of many covers for Women of Marvel, the one-shot special for 2023. But this Elsa Bloodstone is sold out in a couple places online, but there are copies available on eBay and whatnot if you want to go look for them. It's basically still cover price, but I'm just curious where this one could go because I like it. It's a pretty cool Elsa Bloodstone cover. And let's just see where this one might go. If I see it on the shelf on Wednesday, I might go and grab this one because I didn't pre-order this book. I wasn't really looking forward to which cover I wanted to get. So if I see it, this might be the one I go grab personally. Now, next book is an homage that I'm a big fan of. I really want the Snake Eyes one, obviously, and I'm a big fan of Prince and Purple Rain. Granted, this might be getting overdone at this point, so I'm not rushing out to go and grab this particular one, this deceased what is it, the War of the Undead Gods number 7. I don't even know, just whatever, another random deceased cover where they do a lot of cool homages, but I'm just kind of over it at this point. They've done this too many times, too often, too quickly, so I'm just like, all right, enough is enough. But we'll see where this one goes. I mean, maybe I'll pick it up for cover if I see it, but like I said, I'm not rushing out for it because they just did it one too many times or 3 too many times. Who knows? I'm just saying. We'll see what happens. Again, this is only a cover price, so this is not, sold out or hard to find or anything yet, but we'll see what happens once people get to the shops on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, I got some incentives I want to go over. Still part of the cover section here because these are some lower ratio incentives, and I'm only looking at them because of the covers. Starting with Vampirella. This is Vampirella Strikes number 11. It's a Bruce Timm cover. I feel like they've reused this art, and they've used this art before, but this is a 1 in 10. It's available. It's out there. It's only like $8 to $10 for a 1 in 10. So if you wanted to buy it, it's not sold out. I'm just saying, I'm kind of curious because I do like this cover and I just want to see what happens with it once it gets, like I said, out on the shelves. And there's also a 1 in 15, which is a virgin version of this, which I do not see any copies of this yet online, but we'll see what happens on Wednesday if anybody starts releasing these. So just curious. I mean, I'm sure there's still some online stores, the Midtowns and the Graham Crackers and the bigger stores like that, where you can go and pick up some of these books. Some might already be sold out, but by and large, a lot of these things are still available right now. So just curious. Like I said, these are things I'm going to watch. These are things I'm watching for this week that I find interesting. And like I said, I dig this cover. I like Bruce Timm, but I feel like it's been used before, but I'm not 100% what it was used for. Probably just a regular Vampirilla cover because this is Vampirilla Strikes. Up next is another book that, again, cover just caught me. It's Robert Hack. Thought it was really cool. This is Frank Frazetta's Dawn Attack #3. This is also a 1 in 10 incentive. I kind of like it. I like the pulpy aspects of it. I like the layout of it. It looks like an old beat up paperback. I think it's pretty cool. So I actually bought one of these, and I was able to get one online for $8. So 1 in 10 for $8. So I was like, all right, I'm buying it. The seller also happened to have the 1 in 20, which is a version of this book, which I also liked. So they had this for $10. So between the two, I grabbed both of these. Plus, they had a Paul Pope variant that I wanted for a while. That Mask #1, that 1 in 50. I don't know if you know that one, but I bought the third thing too. While I was there shopping, I figured, you know what, grab a few things. So I grabbed a random Paul Pope Mask variant because, well, I like Mask and 80s toys. So figured I'd grab that while I was there. But again, these are not, who knows what's going to happen with these. I just thought they were cool. So I'm going to be curious what happens with them once, again, they hit the shelves. So I grabbed, like I said, the copies I could grab because the price was right for me. But you go take a look and see what you like out there. And another one I'm just curious about because I saw this series had homages before. They had like a horror movie homage. This is like an Archie kind of throwback, but this Monsters of Metal comics. This is I think it's like a My Bloody Valentine special. I don't know. It's some sort of a number. It's #3 for this series. So I don't know. It's a 1 in 5. So it's not a huge incentive ratio, but how many stores are actually ordering this book? I'm just kind of curious to see what might happen with this one as well, because it's different. I like oddball things, and oddball is probably going to be low print. I'm just kind of curious what will happen. Granted, this week, probably nothing. But down the line, some of these things, you never know what might gain interest amongst the community. So, like I said, I'm just kind of curious. So that's why it's on my watch list for this week. If I see it on the shelf, maybe I grab it, but we'll see. Second prints. I always keep an eye on all the reprints, later printings, second prints, third prints, etc. And this week we got a few. Right now, most things are just selling for cover price, including there's a Gun Honey. I think it's like #3. It's second print. It's pretty much reused cover, just kind of recolored. There is a recolored version of this DCU Lazarus Planet book, as well as a second print for this Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo. I think it's like issue 5 or something, or issue 4. Just, I don't know if anything special that happens in those books. I'm not up to date on all of the DC reading, but it's a Silvestri black and white sketch cover on the second print. But all of these, again, are still available and are basically cover price, including our next book, which is Red Goblin #1 from Marvel, another second print. Again, cover price. I mean, it's all right as far as the cover goes. I think it's just interior art being reused. But the reason why I put this here is to lead us into the next book, which is, again, the trend I'm not a fan of, but at this point, I think we can see that people are just buying these, I think, just to try to flip them and push up the price. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like, why is every single second print incentive these days going and pre-selling for multiple times ratio? And that's what's happening again with a 1 in 25 second print incentive for this Red Goblin #1. I mean, virgin cover, okay, it's all right. But copies had sold. Just one pre-sold back in February for only $25, but then a copy sold yesterday for $40, a little over $40. And now, when I went looking at the available copies, they're listed at 60 and a little over 60, so about $60 now. So more than double ratio are the listings for this current. And I get it; they're probably not going to be easy to find. But the bigger question is, why does anybody care? I think, but that's a personal thing. Just because, I mean, you can make things hard to find, you can make things rare. That doesn't mean people all of a sudden need to have them or want them. Like, it's just because something is rare doesn't automatically mean it's valuable. It's just, if nobody wants it, then nobody wants it, no matter how few copies you have of it. But that said, collect how you want to collect. I'm just curious about these things. That's why I'm watching them. I would not be paying any of these prices for. I probably wouldn't pay ratio for this, because we want to spend $25 on a second print for Red Goblin #1 personally. There's plenty of regular copies out there. Well, I don't even know why they did a second print to begin with, but that's a conversation for another day. 1 per stores. Apparently, we got a couple of 1 per stores coming out of Boom. And they look kind of cool. And both of them happen to be done by the same artist. They're both covers by Franny. The first one is Dune House of Harkonnen #3. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I kind of like it. I mean, you can see the empty space left up there for the trade dress, but outside of that, I still kind of dig it. Granted, it's not selling for a ton. Pre-sales prices for this thing, some people sold it for cover price, and others have sold it for about $15. And the asking price is kind of in that $10 to $15 kind of range. It's sometimes listed as unlockable, but other places have listed as one per store. So I think it's an unlockable one per store, or just thing that Boom is giving to stores. Not 100%. I'm not a store owner. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I've seen out there. But it looks like this is a book that one per store that all stores are getting. I guess if they ordered House of Harkonnen #3. The next one is another Boom Franny one per store unlockable cover, and I really dig this cover. This is for Neighbors #1s. This is a new title. We might try to read this for the tax show to review it. It's a new Boom title and see if it's any good. But I kind of like this cover. I don't know, something about it. It just, I mean, it is a virgin version of, I think like the A, B, or C cover. Like there's a regular cover version of this with trade dress. This one per is only a virgin version. So that's what you're looking at here. Prices for this are pre-selling for about $15. You can see there's a bunch of sales there in that $15 kind of range. And then asking prices anywhere $10 to $20. So again, still sticking in that kind of $15 kind of range. It reminds me of that time when Image was coming out with all of those gold foil thank yous, like the one per store, the gold foil versions of all the new Image #1s. This is what it reminds me of, what Boom seems to be doing with some of these unlockables, but it doesn't seem to be relegated to only #1s. They're just kind of throwing them out there whenever. Next up, incentives. I know I like incentives. I know a lot of people like incentives. We're going to start off low, but then we're going to get pretty high because there's some high ratio incentives this week. And like I said, I'm not planning on buying all of these. I'm just watching them. I want to see what happens with the market. I want to see where things go because I find these things fascinating. So our incentives for this week, we're going to start off with one that has actually been selling pretty well. This Milestone book. So this is the 30th anniversary for Milestone. It's a special. A lot of covers, a couple of cool covers as an homage to Flash. What is it, 132, the Flash Two Worlds. There's a Static Shock. It looks like an animated show kind of cover. There's a few cool covers on the regular editions. This is the Bill Sienkiewicz 1 in 25. And I mean, this is what's going to look like if it's up on the wall on your shelf. But if you want to get a better look at the image and the art, I'll turn it on its side so we can take a look here. It's pretty cool. Looks classic Sienkiewicz right there. Reminds me of his the Dazzler type stuff and the Elektra Assassins type stuff from back in the day. But a pretty cool cover nonetheless. And it's 1 in 25 for this. I think it's also a $10 cover price book. So how many shops are going to be ordering 25 copies of a $10 book? Probably not many, which is why we're seeing a copy that sold for $100 and then another copy that sold for only 30. But that I think is a little bit of an outlier, especially when we look at what's available. $120, $100, $110. And then there's Comic Biz with their auction. So it's only at $9 right now, but there's still, 3 days left and $20 shipping. So we'll see where that one ends, later in the week, since it's up at auction. But maybe if your shop has this on the wall tomorrow, when you go hitting the stores, maybe you look for this 1 in 25. Because if you do, you can see $100 is a consistent asking price. We'll see if it stays there. One copy did sell for that I saw, and one sold for under, obviously. But just something to keep an eye on. Just 1 in 25. There's also a 1 in 50. 1 in 50 foil version. My feelings on the DC foils. This probably would have been a pretty cool cover if not for the foils. Probably going to make it dull and boring. But 1 in 50 for that same Milestone book. Pre-sales, none sold. At least none pre-sold yet at the 1 in 50. And I could only find one active listing, and it wants $220 for this 1 in 50. So $220. That's a steep ask. But again, how many places are going to have a 1 in 50 for this $10 cover price book? We'll see. All right, we got another 1 in 50 for you. This time is that Deceased, that War of the Gods #7. A lot of places might actually hit this ratio because they were buying that Purple Rain cover I showed you earlier. But here is the incentive for this book. I think this is Sun Kumanaki. I don't know if I'm saying the name right at all, but I think that's the artist on this cover. A lot of fans of the artist. This is another pretty cool cover. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't think it's a must-have, but it ain't bad for a 1 in 50. Not seen any sold yet as far as pre-sales go, but asking prices are at that $50 to $75 range. So it's 50 and above. So it's ratio and above right now. we'll see if that holds once the book comes out tomorrow and copies hit shelves and hit stores. So we'll see if that maintains. Most likely, more often than not, come Thursday when I do the top 10 and 10, we'll see this is probably like a $40 sales and like $35 sales and $50 sales, etc. But we'll see. We'll see as this all shakes out. Another one we got here. Going to have multiple variants on this book because there are a lot of incentives and a lot of covers. This is, I think, as they listed it, this is the final Batman One Bad Day. It's Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul. I like saying Ra's, but I know that's not the right way to say it. But here's a 1 in 50. I like this kind of pulp cover. I actually did buy one of these. I think that my purchase is actually showing here because it was at a good price for a 1 in 50. Again, I just like this cover. And at the price it was, which was $15 for a 1 in 50 that I liked, I'm in. So I bought it. And you can see another copy sold for 40. So both sales were under that 1 in 50 ratio. But the asking prices, however, are anywhere from the under ratio $30 all the way up to $180. I don't know. Granted, most of the asks are in that like 50 to like 80, but that's the range. So I gave you the high and the low that I could find out there right now, just to give you a sense. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool. We'll see where this goes. But considering this is not even close to the highest ratio, it may not really do anything. But like I said, I just liked it. And for $15, I was in. There is a 1 in 100 Brian Boland cover on this one as well. Not bad. Pretty good. If this were the highest ratio, maybe it would do a bit better than where it's at. But right now, still 1 in 100 sold above ratio, $120. Like I said, not bad. Asking price, $120 to $200. That's all I could find out there. Interesting, right? I mean, again, I don't know how many copies because this is also going to be, I think it's a $6 book. It's a little bit more expensive, cardstock, a little bit prestige format. So a little bit more of a premium price to even buy the regular editions. So these incentives are also going to be a little bit pricier than normal. But I didn't think they'd be this pricey because this is a 1 in 100, which you think would be the top. This would be the top dog, the highest. But it's not. There's a 1 in 200. Why in God's name did they make a 1 in 200 for this? Let alone, it looks like I don't know if it's a wraparound or if it's a fold-out cover, but the way the barcode is placed, it makes it look like it's a gatefold cover. But on a cardstock cover, I don't know how that's going to work, but still, here we go. Batman, One Bad Day. 1 in 200 incentive. Found one pre-sale for $112. That was back on March 4th. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the wrong bit. Yeah, no, I didn't no pre-sales on this. No pre-sales that I could find on this. That's right. That was left over from the last week's. So disregard that. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But the asking prices, that's why we put this here. The asking prices, there's 2 copies asking $800. Well, I'm sorry. One's $800. One's closer to $900. And then there's an auction with still almost a week left. That's up to $28. We'll see where that ends up. But $800 before the book comes out. That's a pretty tall order there, Nordberg. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm curious. I want to see what happens as this drops tomorrow. So I want to see what happens as the week goes on. But that said, this is not even the highest for this week. 1 in 200, still not the highest ratio. The highest ratio for this week belongs to Exo Man of War Unconquered. This is a 1 in 250 leather cover. Yep, leather. It's a leather cover. Pre-sales on this book. Best offer on $240 and a best offer way back in December. Not best offer. Buy it now way back in December for $450. Who knows if that purchase was actually followed through on or not. Just saying. That's what I found out there. $450 and $240 were the best offer. Asking prices $350, $350, $350, $450. So not cheap. I mean, it is a high ratio incentive. I mean, 1 or 250. Who's ordering 250 copies of Exo Man of War to get this leather cover? I don't know. Apart from maybe Midtown gets a copy, maybe Graham Cracker or Golden Apple gets a copy. How many other shops are ordering that many Exo Man of Wars? Probably not many. But there it is. So if you see it at your LCS, I'd be curious. Snap a picture of it on the wall. They don't even and share it with me on IG. You don't have to buy it. Just if your store got it, please share it. I'd love to see it because I just can't imagine many stores ordering that many copies of Exo. But Who knows, right? I mean, if they got a big online presence, maybe. That said, got a couple potential first appearances, I guess, from what I'm reading, from what I'm hearing. First appearances for this week, we should keep an eye out for. I will be following up on this book as part of the check-in for the new comic book day, reading Superman #2. But apparently we're getting this new anti-hero, Moonlight, showing up. This is the cover I like best out of the group. My buddy Keith was talking to me about it today, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think this is going to do much, but who knows? We'll look at it. We'll keep an eye on it. Still cover price right now. Plenty of copies available. She's also on multiple covers for this book. I think this is the cover C or D or something. But this is probably my favorite. I think it's a Nathan Zerdy cover. But then she's also on the cover A right there. And yeah, see, Marilyn Moon Knight strikes. So getting pumped right there on the front cover of the issue 2. There's also a design variant that's also regular cover price. And the 1 in 50 is a virgin foil version of that cover A. So just so you know, there's a foil version too. But we'll see what happens with this character. Know nothing about it. There's also going to be more of a reveal of that graph or whatever. Whoever was in the back of the book of issue 1, they're going to get a little bit more. Supposedly first full appearance. We'll see. We'll see what else happens. But just something to be aware of. Just like She-Hulk is also going to have a first appearance of a character that seems to be hanging around, or is going to be hanging around in the title for a little bit. A new villain, a new nemesis they kept putting out as like a thief called Scoundrel. So we'll see how this plays out. But apparently Scoundrel first shows up in this week's She-Hulk, which I think is number 11. Despite the picture that I found, didn't have the number on it. I believe this is issue 11. And if we look at future covers, this is the best picture I could get. Because again, I don't have the books yet, because this book's not out yet. The best picture I can get of this character, Scoundrel, was right there. So on number 14, he's right there on the cover with She-Hulk. So again, it's supposed to be some sort of arch rival, nemesis, some sort of thief. And, as the name would suggest. So he's definitely a scoundrel. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Don't know. Again, book was only cover price. It's not sold out. It's not anything that's crazy on the market yet. This is an odd week for that. There's not a lot of books that were pre-selling for a lot. As you saw, most of the stuff is just stuff that I'm curious about. So that's what I decided to put out there for you in these little categories. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section. Go check it out. Check out the rest of the content here on the channel. Thanks for the support. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. And with that all said, this will probably be the last time I give this out for free. This will go back to be members-only content, my little watch list of books that I'm keeping an eye on for the week. So if you find it valuable, consider joining up with a membership, because I don't know. I'm really hustling to get this done. I mean, it's 8:30 on Monday, and I'm recording this. I'm going to edit it real fast and just throw it out there for your guys' consumption as soon as I can. So with that, thank you again. I will see you guys soon with some more content. All right, later.